Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
My name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And today we'll be doing a preview of...
Aspens. Aspens is designed by Neil Edwards and it's published by Ludivore Games, who helped sponsor this video.
In this game, you'll be competing to sprout trees across the beautiful forest. Now, you'll be doing this according to the wind, according to some dice rolls, and making sure that you have more trees than your opponent. Or more territory, rather.
Before we get into the overview of the game, just a reminder that this game is a prototype, so some of the stuff you see here might be subject to change.
Exactly. Let's head over to the table and give you an overview of the game. You'll start off by setting up. Each player will choose a tree type, and you'll seed and grow your forests, initially placing 3 trees by each of the water tiles, and then distributing 4 more in any fashion between the 3. You're now ready to play. Let's fast forward a bit in the game to give you a better feel of how each turn will work. On your turn, you will first roll the dice. The sun die will generate new trees for you, while the wind die will tell you which direction you can plant those new trees. You'll generate trees based on the value of the sun die. The current player will always gain 1 tree to start. After that, both players will take 1 tree into their hand for each of their forest tiles that has at least the number of trees as a sun value. You'll then plant your trees. You'll have 2 choices from planting trees. You can place trees on tiles you already own to increase your tree count, or you can place a tree on any valid empty tile, making sure the tile is adjacent to a tile you already own, and the direction of placement follows the wind die. When following the wind direction, you can plant in the direction the wind roll displays, or either direction immediately to either side of it. So when planting northwest, you can additionally plant west and northeast. Now if, while planting trees, you close off an area, you'll immediately claim all the surrounded tiles by placing trees from your supply into that area, 1 on each space. And that's the game. You'll keep playing planting trees until the entire grid is covered by trees. You'll count up how many tiles each player owns, and the player who has the majority will win the game of Aspens.
And that's Aspens.
I planted a lot of trees.
I planted more trees.
You always beat me in 2-player games.
So what are we going to talk about today? This is a preview video where we want to explain to you folks why you might be interested in checking this one out.
Well, I think the decision making of where to place trees is a really interesting one. Because you could expand your individual plots to have the potential to get more trees in the future.
Yes.
Or you can just race to kind of close off sections and go for that objective. So that balance is a really interesting one.
Yeah, and of course it definitely depends on the die roll, what you're going to end up wanting to do. I do really appreciate the degree of change that you can make in direction when you're doing that. That really helps out the game. But it did feel puzzly enough that if you're interested, especially in a 2-player game where it's quick and easy, you still get that little puzzle feel where you do have to make those decisions, and they could be key turning points in the game.
The other element we'll talk about too is how your table really comes to life as the game progresses. At first there's just a few little trees dwindling here and there, and all of a sudden there's a forest on your tabletop.
Yeah, the table presence is quite fantastic once you see it all laid out. It really does look like a forest.
And what's in the forest? Is there magic in there? Are there berries?
I don't know, but hopefully there's more trees of yours than there is of your opponent's, because you want to win the game.
Exactly.
The last couple key features that I would talk about is that this game is really easy to play. It's got some quick gameplay so you can play it multiple times over a short period of time. And then also just the ease of access for the game. You really are just taking the trees out of the bag and placing them onto the board. So that simple action and mechanic goes a long way to make a bit of a puzzly game. And sometimes those end up being the greatest of games.
And the more that you play, the more strategy you can kind of develop. Because sometimes you don't plant the trees right away. You kind of hold on to them to have a big move later down the road. But at the same time, you sacrifice opportunities for your opponent to maybe get ahead of you. So who knows?
Yeah, one of the most interesting decisions is actually, in my opinion, is exactly that. Is whether or not your role is not in your favor, so you just choose maybe not to even place.
Exactly. Now the other element this game has is 2 expansions. There's the Majestic Marvels and the Ancient Artifacts. Now Ancient Artifacts are these character cards that come out and leave a little token on the board. And once you have 4 trees next to that token, you get the card and you get its ability that you can use, one-time use.
Yes.
So these really change up the dynamic of the game. They also, those tokens block spaces for your trees until they're claimed. So they kind of position interestingly and give opportunities for players to create pathways in a strategic way.
But if you close it off, that's interesting too, because if you close it off and it's just your space, you get more trees.
Exactly.
And you get the card.
And you get the card. And the ability. And the abilities are quite fun. They provide a little bit of a twist for the game. The other one is Majestic Marvels. So this kind of throws a different spin on how the game is scored. The way that works is each location, the 6 different locations of the board, are races now to fill them. Once you have a majority of those, there's cards that are shuffled randomly with numbers on each of those locations. And then once you claim them, you claim that number. And whoever has the most of those Majestic Marvels points will win the game.
Yeah. It's like a completely different game, really.
Yep, because you're really going for those sought-after territories.
And racing instead of just trying to like plan how you're going to get the majority of the tiles.
Or do you go for the lower territories and distract the opponent with the higher territories?
Getting more lower numbers is better than getting just one big number.
Exactly.
Well, that's all we have for you for Aspens. If you are interested in learning more, of course, we'll leave the link down below so you can check out the description to find out more about this crowdfunding project.
It is coming to crowdfunding, and you can learn much, much more about all the intricate details of Aspens.
Are you sold on this game already? What particularly shot out to you about Aspens? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you liked this video, of course, give us that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because we make weekly board game content where we talk about games like this.
And for our question of the day, what is your favorite tree?
What is your favorite
Mine's
tree?
a birch. I like the white with the little black. It's very pretty.
I don't know if I really have one.
You like the oak?
I do. I like the ones that are like I think they're sycamores, but they're giant. Like you can't even hug around them. Like yeah. They're fun.
I'm a sycamore.
I am not a sycamore because you can wrap your arms all the way around me.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, always hit them in the comments down below.
We'll see you in the next one.
Exactly.
Bye.